What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Yo, there you got a good one though, y'all. So I was having a conversation, yo, with one of my supporters, man, and we was talking about the juveniles, the kids, man. No, right now, I think more than ever before, we seeing kids crashing out, going to prison. What's up, Ty? And we talk about this a lot, but I guess it's always good to revisit this topic. Y'all know what I think the root of the cause is. But yo, kids is going, they out of control. Out of control. Well, at least that's what they present to us, They present to us like they out of control. Now, we do got a problem. But I'm not one of them guys that's ever going to say that we need to start locking up kids. That ain't that. I ain't going to say that. Because I don't think we need that, y'all. I think that's a recipe for disaster, y'all. I think we already locking up adults. It's already black men going to prison at alarming rates. Yo, we don't want to start sending our kids to prison. I don't give a fuck how much they present it, how much they show on the news what these kids is doing. Yo, I'm not going that route. Because I believe, yo, once certain doors are open, yo, it's hard to close them. What's up, Walker? I believe, yo, that once certain doors are open, it's hard to close them. And I don't think we want to open Pandora's box, yo. I think once that door open, and it's already opening. Yeah, the internet serves, yo, but that's why I be talking how I be talking about the things that we indulge in, the internet that's presented to us. It's 80% nonsense. Ain't no education. Like, what channels can kids go to learn something from anybody? Like, yo, these channels is everybody selling out for profit. Okay, so it ain't at all, bro. But that's what's being presented to us, yo. That's what's being highlighted whenever you talk about the juvenile issue and the issue in our community. And we're gonna get to that. I heard we are. So y'all know Meech supposed to be coming home. We looked into him the other day. And man, shit. It is what it is. You feel me? Like, I don't think Meech is solid as people think he is, or people want him to be. But we did a video on it the other day, but today I found a video of Deon Gatling daughter speaking. His daughter speaking. And she speaks on the whole Big Meech thing. So we're gonna listen to that. You got Lil Reese locked up right now. I think this was a month. I think Lil Reese worked very hard to get arrested. And he got a nice amount of years too. Lil Reese got a problem with putting his hands on women. Shorty gotta get himself together. He had that problem since he came out though. Ever since Lil Reese came out, he had a problem with putting his hands on women. Now, his ass ready to get sent over. I think he might even be in Texas. I don't even know if he's in Chicago or not. Let's find out. But yeah, now it's time for him to stand on it. He like fighting. He ready to go in a place where ain't nothing but fighting going on. Porters, what it is? Ball out, what's happening? What G baby you talking about? Lil Reese has been sentenced to 5 to 10 years in prison for aggravated assault of a family member. Like, shorty, I don't know if it's the drugs. I know shorty be drugging. But it's like, to keep it all the way real, it's like when you see Lil Reese outside, I mean, we done seen him in some compromising situations. But then when he get locked up, it's always against a family member or a female, or like Lil Reese got pics. Yeah, yeah, dude. Mountain Dew. Yeah. Meech ain't right. But it look like Lil Reese got picks, man. Lil Reese got picks. But he got a nice little amount of time to get himself right. So what's that? 10/17. So he got locked up a couple days ago. What's today? Today the 17th. He got locked up today. Yeah, that's what they saying, 100 late. Yo say I'm trying to be like Charleston White. What the fuck, boy? Charleston White. You done lost your motherfucking mind. I could never attempt to be like Charleston White. But yeah, yeah, we gonna get the Meech show, but I just wanted to show y'all that Lil Reese got picks, man. Lil Reese got issues that he need to try to figure out. Hopefully he can figure it out while he got some time to get away. But you can't keep putting your hands on family members and women, man. When you see him outside in the streets, that shit don't go that way. See him in the streets, damn near head was took off on one situation. Another occasion, you had shit coming down his leg. You feel me? He might needed that time to sit down, yo. And I ain't the one that's gonna say prison saved you, because it don't. But Reese might need that time to get away, because he ain't never did no bit. Out of all the bullshit Reese done been in over the years, he ain't never did no bit. He ain't never did no bit. Yeah. Hey, look, Ty, you might know about this. So let's get the Big Meech. So we did a video, 3-hour video on Big Meech, yo, and we came to a conclusion, yo, that I don't think Big Meech is right. But Deon Gatling, daughter, spoke on this. I don't know when she did this video, but check it out. This the paperwork. Y'all see that? No, y'all can't see that. Alright, so I'm going to read that here real quick. Information from the DEA, Atlanta agents who monitored some, but not all, of the calls between Gatling and Serres in CS1 on August 5th, 2012. I think, is this the paperwork we read? Third, the affidavit assertion facts related to a suspected drug distribution conspiracy between Demetrius Flannery, Deon Gatling. Oh no, we ain't read this. And Fidel. Can y'all see that, y'all? Do I gotta make it a little bigger? More specifically, the affidavit asserts that Demetrius Flannery was the purported national leader of the Black Mafia Family (BMF) drug trafficking organization and had been sentenced to 30 years imprisonment for drug trafficking activities. The affidavit further asserted that, based on information previously known to DEA St. Louis, Deon Gatling was a member of St. Louis BMF, was an associate of Flannery, and had substantial ties to multiple BMF members, had been indicted in the Eastern District of Missouri on drug trafficking charges and sentenced to 120 months incarceration for drug trafficking. The affidavit asserted that, based on information from CS1 and an independent investigation by DEA St. Louis agent, Serres owned and operated a trucking company in California and had been investigated and or arrested without conviction for drug. Oh yeah, that's the paper we read the other day, y'all. Yeah, we already read this. But the daughter spoke out.
Big Meech did a third-party cooperation.
This the daughter right here, y'all.
I'm Tamara Gatling. I'm making this recording in regards to my dad. He's
deal to receive
Deon Gatling. Most people know him as Cuffy. But I wanted to make this recording so I can share on some facts. My dad was set up by one of his best friends, which is Demetrius Flannery, also known as Big Meech. My dad and Meech have been friends for 30 years plus. I've known Meech my whole life. I look at him like an uncle, like this situation has been completely devastating on so many different levels, and there's still so many questions that aren't answered. At this point, I can only shed light on what I know for sure to be facts, and hopefully one day I will have the complete truth. But in 2011, around that time,
oh shit,
Meech reached out to my dad in regards to creating a BMF movie. So Meech hooked my dad up with a woman named Tammy Cohen's. At the time, Tammy was Meech's power of attorney. Also, she owned the life rights. So my dad was working with Meech, Tammy, T, basically trying to work on a movie deal. So at the complete truth. But finally arrested my dad and we received the discovery. He knew exactly who CS1 was.
Remember I said that in the video though? Remember when I looked at that video and I said, yo, it was only 3 people on that phone call. They know who CS1 is. It ain't like it's hidden. It was 3 people on the phone call that sent paperwork. All he gotta do is recall that phone call and he know exactly who the fuck he was talking to. So Tammy Cohen being a CSI, that ain't enough for, CS1 ain't enough for debate.
And he told me and my mom that it was Tammy Cohen's. At that time, we really did not want to believe. We wanted to give Meech the benefit of the doubt. It was really, really hard to believe that Meech would set my dad up. It was almost unbelievable. So we were able to reach out, get a message to Meech, and basically let him know that Tammy was an informant. We later received a message from him saying that it had to be a misunderstanding. Just call her, she'll straighten this out, so on, so on. And at this time, my dad was like, I'm not dumb, I'm not about to call an informant. Finally arrested my dad and we received the discovery. He knew.
Nasty system. What Meech and Tammy did was call a third-party cooperation. What happened was...
This call was from a federal prison.
Originally, I was put with Tammy. I paid for the script. Nasty system. Sosa and myself, we all before all of that. You feel me?
Right.
Sosa is a day one nigga. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And see, Meech, I'm the first nigga put $1 million in his pocket. He never seen that till he came to the loop. You feel me?
I heard
He
about
never
you,
seen
dog.
that.
I heard you was just an outstanding dude, man. Take care of your business and your reputation in a good way preceded itself. So I understand now based on from what we've dealt with and seen with this whole...
You're right, Ty. That's a good point.
Tammy, man, speak on that for me if you can, because it's
Well,
perplexing.
what they did, what Meech and Tammy did is call it because you're not in the system. Thank God you're not. I hate to see brothers in this system. But brothers who are familiar with this system, it's a nasty, nasty system. What Meech and Tammy did was call a third-party cooperation. What happened was...
This call was...
That's why 50, when he came in, because we put a assistant cease order in through my attorney. That's why they couldn't do a motion picture. That's why you didn't see the BMF story on the big screen. So 50 ran it through this star shit, then he run that other corny shit that he do. So what happened was, homie, I wasn't even the original target. They wanted to get a little Mexican. He's actually a cartel member out of LA named Suarez. You'll see his name in the paperwork. Deon Suarez. He was their initial target. You feel me?
Right.
He was their initial target. But with me calling in while they were trying to set up Fidel Suarez, she clicked over and told the agents who was listening to her and Suarez, hold on, this is Cuff. And when they heard the name Cuff, they went fucking crazy. And that's when her and Meech turned the scheme toward me. You feel me? So what it did was, that's why 50, when he did this is what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to give Meech a time cut for her cooperation and set me up. But also, it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It puts me in jail, and now they don't have to split any of the revenue with me. My buddy and my partner along with me his name is Louis Burrell. That's MC Hammer's big brother.
That's who Tammy was coming out here to see.
That was me.
And I'm gonna tell you the year. That was 2015. No, that was like 14.
Way earlier than that. It started way earlier than that. Way earlier than that. Around 2010, homie. Way earlier than that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we gotta go way back.
We put $50 million on the table through Lionsgate Films, through Louis Burrell's Connect. Because Louis is this nigga, he a bait nigga out there, but he fucks around. He really fucks around in the music gift, but he also fucks around in the movie industry up there. Now, what we did not know that this is what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to give Meech. That's why Tammy would turn down that deal with me and Louis Burrell getting 20% of that budget. You understand what I'm saying? For a finder's fee. So what ended up happening was we didn't know that they had other plans and that she was sleeping with the feds and that they would put me off in prison and run away with my script and don't have to give me anything. So it was supposed to give Meech a time cut and knock me out of my percentage, me and Louis Burrell out of our percentage for the finder's fee with Lionsgate's film. Well, Lionsgate, when Louis went, so they backdoored us. Lionsgate shot it down when Louis Burrell was no longer a part of it. You feel me?
Right.
So Tammy's whole thing fell apart. Meech couldn't get a time cut because they found out Tammy has no credibility. Because when you can't have a relationship with a federal agent, now you have no credibility. So they thing blew up. They thing fell all the way apart and blew up. That's why Meech didn't get a time. That's why Tammy would turn down that deal with me. But Tammy testified in open court that she signed up to be a DA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut.
This call is from a federal prison.
Special Agent Keith Cromer testified that Demetrius Flannery knew about this whole thing, but he just wanted to keep his name out of the documents. The special agent told Flannery that he could not do that. He could only do that if Cuff don't go to trial. And with Cuff's record, he can't afford to go to trial. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
But in the midst of all of this, she ends up flipping on the special agent Keith Cromer, and the whole deal went in the trash. So that's why we're at the point to where we're at now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did the relationship go back with Meech, Cuff? How long have you known him? What you guys go back?
1990, homie.
1990. God
but
damn.
Tammy testified in open court that she signed up to be a DA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut.
This call is from a federal prison.
Special Agent Keith Cromer testified that Demetrius Flannery knew about this whole thing, but he just wanted to keep his name out of the documents. The special agent told Flannery that my beautiful daughter that you talk with, my son, my other daughter, they look at this nigga, call this nigga uncle, homie.
Now, from my understanding, you guys reached out to him when the paperwork came down. She said that you knew who the CI was, and you told her and her mom, and you guys sent a message to Meech. What was his response when this stuff came down and you were like, yo, bro, what's going on? What did you get from Meech?
When I got locked up, homie, and when I seen where this whole conspiracy was coming from, I laughed at it and I didn't believe in it. And I knew that Meech could come forward and kill the whole conspiracy. Just saying that the conspiracy is based on Meech communicating from Tammy, sending me a truckload of drugs. It's all made up. From jail, homie. He could have killed this whole deal. They never had my
Meech terrible for that.
Any drugs. You understand what I'm saying? But that's how conspiracy works in this system, in this nasty system. But when Meech shot down the offer, when we sent my attorneys out, he was at FCI Lompoc in California. And he responded back to my attorneys that he didn't want to have nothing to do with nothing. And he stopped communicating with them. So then that told my attorneys right there that Demetrius Flannery is a part of this whole deal. And I couldn't believe it. You feel me? So that's what his response was, that he don't know nothing about all this. Well, Demetrius Flannery has been locked up since 2010. are you my unindicted, he's listed in my paperwork, homie, as my unindicted co-conspirator serving 30 years at FCI Lompoc in California. How are you in my paperwork, man? And how are you this famous drug dealer who's in magazines and books and any drugs? You understand what I'm saying? But that's how conspiracy works in these movies. And you are in bed with a government informant that testified in court that she cooperated and set your nigga up, a 30-year partner, to give you a time cut. How are you this celebrity drug lord, but you in bed with a government informant?
Yes, it don't make sense.
How do you not know about this? And you in my documents is my co-defendant, my unindicted co-defendant.
Shit don't make sense, man.
And you are...
And said that he was trying to get...
Shit don't make sense, y'all. And we read the documents. You know, like, yo, I ain't one of them guys, yo, that fall in love with these motherfuckers. Like, yo, it is what it is. Like, I don't be putting snitching past none of these dudes. You feel me? And it is what it is. Like, yo, did that. He did that, y'all. Because it's a few things that you can't explain it. Like he said, you this big time drug lord or drug dealer that the whole world know, but you in bed with a fucking federal. How do a federal informant got your life rights? It don't make sense. You know, it's too many red flags, yo, for it not to be true, yo. And then Tammy Combs don't have no criminal record. When do federal informants become federal informants? Normally when they get locked up for something. She don't got no criminal record. Never been in trouble. So how does she become a federal informant? Like, yo, it is what it is, man. He did that. He did that. He wasn't trying to take his time, man. He tried to come on. And the whole deal blew up in his face. So he ain't gonna get no motherfucking welcome home from me. Straight up. June 17th, what it is. But yeah, Meech pulled the move, y'all. You heard the daughter. If you go to the live we did yesterday, we read the paperwork, all of it. And basically, that's what he said. He said everything that was in the paperwork, almost verbatim. Almost verbatim, yo. Everything that was in that paperwork. Man, people ain't nobody trying to take their time no more. Nobody want to take their time. Everybody looking for an out, but they want to commit crime. You feel me? Like, yo, if you don't want to go to jail, you don't commit no crime, yo. At least it lessen your chances. You feel me? It ain't guaranteed, but it lessen your chances of having to sit down for a motherfucking minute. It was just crazy. Erica motherfuckers was mad at me for calling it out. Like, cause I ain't even know none of this. Like, and I remember when all of this was going on. You know, when Blue Da Vinci was doing his thing, and he didn't want to put the paperwork out there. I remember all of it was going on. I ain't paid no mind. You know, but since he ready to come home, let me check into him before I salute him. You understand what I'm saying? But you check into him, you find out boy ain't right. So Edward, you find out the boy ain't right, man. Yo, but I want to show y'all this, y'all. So y'all know we've been talking about Diddy a lot over here. Exactly, Fly Guy. We've been talking about Diddy a lot. And we've been talking about the industry and how these industries are ran. Nickelodeon, music industry. But Disney is another industry.
Early voting has tremendous advantages.
So it was just an indictment at Disney. Like, yo, why do there be so many indictments at Disney, yo? What the fuck is going on at Disney? To where so they always getting indicted. Disney employee busted in Florida human trafficking sting, nabbed 157 suspects. Let's check this out.
To this wonderful team of folks, they this with our partners. And the only reason we can be successful is because of the number of partners that we have. This operation began on October 2nd, and it only lasted 5 days because of the hurricane. So we had to cut it off early, and despite that, we made 157 arrests, 47 prostitutes, 96 Johns, and 14 for a
Yo,
variety.
it must be a lot of that going on in Florida, yo. He always announcing these busts. And this motherfucker is pure comedy. Like, for real. He makes a show out this shit.
Usually, it's remarkably difficult to find the human trafficker, but we did this time. We also rescued 4 potential victims of human trafficking that admitted it up front. Now, our wonderful NGOs that are here today will follow up with all of these people, because after creating a relationship and partnership, usually they identify others who, once they become accustomed to the NGOs and see that they're there to help them, may also be noticed. But we are excited that we were able to rescue 4 potential victims of human trafficking. Now, this is such a popular thing in Florida. You know, you come to Florida on vacation. A lot of people want to leave.
I'll speed it up.
Homicide. Apparently, those were all crossed in the process. Vehicle homicide, kidnapping, robbery, and then a sundry of other charges. So there was some very bad people that we arrested. Now, for just a moment, I want to focus on what I think is a huge concern, and that huge concern is those that came here illegally. So I'm going to roll out a couple of things for you. First, I want you to see this chart. 25 illegal immigrants were arrested in this operation. They were from Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia, Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico. 16% of these total arrests were people who should not even have been in this country, but they were here. And they were here because we have a federal government that enabled these criminals to come into the country and then treated them very well after the criminals came here illegally. So let me share a story with you, and then I'm going to read a quote for you, and then let you see a video. The prostitutes that came here, several of them had to pay off a coyote debt. Some of them said, hey, we did it because it was easy money. Others said, well, we came here and we were illegal, we couldn't get employment, so we turned to prostitution. Some of them said we were threatened and our family was threatened if we did not prostitute for the coyotes or for the human traffickers. So I'm going to tell you one story about one of our suspects, Maria, and that's not her real name. She's from Venezuela. She made a conscious decision to come to this country to commit crime. She flew into Mexico from Venezuela. She walked across from Juarez, Mexico, into El Paso, Texas, with her 1-year-old child, where she was greeted by the Border Patrol. Did you hear what I said? She was greeted by the Border Patrol. There was no sneaking. She flew in, she got here, she simply walked across the open border. There is no border security at the southern border. Zero. It doesn't exist.
Damn.
So when she was greeted, and you'll understand why we use that term in a minute, you'll understand that she went to the Border Patrol processing, where in 1 day, she completed the processing and was released to a facility, a holding facility, a housing
in 1
facility
day
for immigrants. She said, I was given a DNA test to make sure that my DNA matched my child's. He was given a DEA test to make sure he was really my child. She said once that occurred, they set me down and they told me all about the benefits that I would get in the United States. She said I was eligible and I had to fill out these forms so that I could get those benefits. She said, so I fill forms out for Medicaid, for SNAP, which is money for food. She said I was given free travel from the border to Chicago. When I got to Chicago, I couldn't find gainful employment there, so I thought, what the heck? I'll go to Florida. And then I got to fly to Florida.
Wow.
She was giving free housing. All because the United States paid for that. That's right, you, the taxpayer.
Yo, that's crazy.
Pay for that. So this was all simply walking across the border. She said it was unbelievable to me. But let me read her quote, because understand, she walked across the border. This was not a stealthful act. And then they gave her free travel, free housing, free food, free medical care.
Jesus Christ. Everything free out.
People from the hurricane are still waiting for help. Let me read in English, and then we're going to play the video clip she agreed to do if we'd use another name. When I passed through immigration, they sat me down and explained to me all the benefits I was eligible for. I was told I could apply for government assistance. I could apply for health medical insurance for my son, and I could apply for food assistance. After I finished talking to immigration, a short time passed until a DNA test was done on me and my son to prove that he was my son. Then they set me down with other people who were also waiting and had already qualified to be released. Then they explained to us that the documents we had in our hands were our personal identification in the United States, and we could use the documents to travel on buses and airplanes. They also explained to us that we could use those documents to apply for our documents to become legal here. And after that, they explained all of the benefits. They said, "Welcome to the United States of North America." And from there, they transported us to a refugee camp. And all of this occurred in one day. So welcome to the United States. This is someone who just crossed the border.
Yeah, this is crazy.
And to commit crime. And they were not only welcome to the United States, but then they were giving all kinds of benefits at the cost of the taxpayer. So let's listen to her in her words.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on from there to other topics.
Yeah, where's Waldo? This is insane. What the fuck is she saying? So she was a prostitute.
Pues eran como nuestra identificación aquí en Estados Unidos, que con eso podíamos viajar en bus, en avión, que con eso podíamos sacar nuestros papeles más legalmente aquí. Y después que nos explicaron todo eso de las ayudas y toda la cuestión, pues nos dijeron bienvenidos a los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica y ¿sabes?
Shit, might as well. They're giving out everything like that.
Now understand, there are 4 women listed here as human trafficking victims that were smuggled across the border in addition to her. 2 of the human trafficking victims admitted they had to pay off a coyote debt of $6,000. Make no mistake about it, the government is complicit and is aiding and abetting human trafficking in the United States.
Damn, that's a serious claim.
They're creating an environment for people to start out here.
Hey, yo, that is a bold claim, but I think I agree. That man said there's aiding and abetting in human trafficking, man. Wow. It looked like it, though. Shit, it looked like it. The way these motherfucking cities and these towns look. I wouldn't be surprised.
And more than they amassed where they came from. In addition to that, there is a wide open border where fentanyl is coming across, and that is encouraged. And as a result of that, we have thousands upon thousands of people dying in the United States. And then the best that our federal politicians could say was, well, it didn't kill as many people this year as last year. I don't even need to comment more about that. All the while, we have people that are suffering, that have not received help yet from the federal government as a result of the hurricanes in North Carolina and in Florida. In Polk County, the aid's not come through yet. There are people, irrespective of the hurricanes, in this nation that need help, that need support, but they don't get that in vehicle to receive. And here's the human trafficker we were able to arrest. Travis Hutchinson, he's 25, he lives in Davenport. He was dealing with two females, one from Colombia and one from Venezuela. Now the Colombian came to Mexico, to California, and then to here. She was recruited by a coyote who took her to the border and said, all you have to do is walk across. Understand, the coyotes weren't even having to smuggle or hide them in vehicles and bring them across the border late at night.
That is crazy.
The coyote now rounds you up, takes you to the border and says, walk right through here and go into that processing center. Our Colombian victim and our Venezuelan victim of human trafficking met there. And then they were flown from California to Florida. Now, Travis was here. He was talking to the coyote in California who said, I'm sending them to you. And they had to work to pay off the debt. Travis would set up the appointments. They were having to turn as many as 20 tricks a day apiece in order to pay off their debt. So they were paying the coyote's debt off. They would then pay in Travis, and he was setting up all of these operations. Oh, they can even use Cash App if you don't have cash. It's amazing to me. So, Travis, when they would refuse or say, I'm tired, I don't want to do this anymore, he would slap and choke one of our victims and threaten them if they did not get out and go back to work. It is exciting. If this operation had only involved his arrest, it would have been a success. But let me go over a few more of the arrests. Now, what would a autumn sweep operation be? What would any of our undercover operations be where we're dealing with human trafficking, prostitution, child predators without Disney? We always arrest Disney employees.
Yo,
this is Ubanus.
See, that's the crazy, and and that's the shit we was talking about in the last couple of weeks. Disney, why hasn't it been a major raid of Disney yet, yo? Like I didn't watch at least 4 or 5 press conferences of his where Disney employees always seem tied into some type of trafficking minors, trafficking adults, and we ain't never seen no motherfucking Rico on Disney. For real. That's why I turned this on. It's always 3 of them, 3 Disney employees.
Muta. He's 28 from Davenport. He's a wood carving artist when he's not soliciting prostitution. This is Kyle Widmeyer. He's 20 from Philadelphia. He works as a custodian for Disney. He said he just moved to Florida at the end of September from Philadelphia. Well, Kyle, welcome to Florida. Welcome to Polk County. Welcome to the jail. And there's one albino, he's 35. He's from Haines City. He works backstage utilities. Oh, by the way, he's married and had a wife at home.
Oh, they got caught buying.
And of course, being patriotic, people wanting to have sex, there's the military members. Juan Barrio, who's 47. He's a disabled vet. He was born in Colombia. Norel Cooper from Orlando, Navy Reserve supply clerk. He's stationed in Jacksonville. Then there's Alejandro Parra, he's 20 from Davie, Florida.
That shit got to be embarrassing.
Stationed in Orlando.
Yeah. You know what that man wife gonna say when she see this shit on TV? God damn, he plastered them all over the fucking screen. Hey man, it don't pay to play. fuck that. I mean, don't, man, y'all know what I'm trying to say.
I
Shit,
literally
can't even get the words
do this
out.
at my job, meaning he processes paper for soldiers that are arrested. Well, heck, when he bonds out, he can go process his own paperwork. You know what I mean? And then I always like to point out the loyal husbands who leave their wives or fiancés at home while they have sex. So here's a Lee Anthony Williams. He was arrested on Friday, October the 4th, just before he was to get married on Tuesday, 4 days later. The fiancé was out of town at the time, and hey, he had some spare time on his hands. What can you say? You know, his quote was this, I hope she doesn't find out. Well, newsflash, it's going to be on every station, on social media. You know, she's going to find out. Then there's Jonathan Webster. He came all the way from the UK, from England. He was here on a 2-week vacation with his fiancée. And his fiancée thought he was going to Walmart. Well, it was a Walmart of sorts. It was a Walmart of sex, a Walmart to get caught. But Jonathan's fiancée now knows that he wasn't at Walmart. He was at Grady Mart. Dominique Price, 30, from Mineola. His fiancée is pregnant. He told her that he was going to the gym for a little exercise. I guess you could call that exercise. He was arrested on Friday, October 4th, but that's okay. He had 2 days to bond out before the baby was due on Sunday. And then there's always the previous sting arrest. You know, Tommy Thomas, 28, from Haines City, he was arrested in 2019. He said, hey, I had such a great time getting arrested by the sheriff's office and the team of detectives from the police departments. I think I'll go back and get arrested again. So that's what happened.
He can't help himself.
And then Jose Perez says, well, you're not by yourself. I'm 38. I'm from Haines City. And he was arrested in 2017. His wife thought he was at work.
It's a fuck.
And there's Evans Joseph Jr. He was a prostitute, not a John. He was arrested in 2022 for offering to commit prostitution.
What the fuck? What the hell?
And then this was kind of one of my favorites, so I gave him his own card by himself. Darren Sandiardo, he's 43, he's from Brentwood, New York. He's a volunteer firefighter, has been for 25 years. He's here on vacation. He's married with a 5-year-old son, charged with solicitation. So, there you go. But in addition to our human trafficker, if we only made these 3 arrests, it would have been a success. Because you see, in addition to a human trafficking operations, we're also doing a child predator operation. These 3 folks traveled to the undercover location thinking they were going to have sex with a child. That's right, these are pedophile or dangerous child sex predators. Michael Gillis is from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Now, there's a story about that. He was arrested in Minnesota for trying to have sex with a 14-year-old little boy. Not only was he arrested for trying to have sex with a 14-year-old little boy, but he was out on an $85,000 bond from that charge.
Jeez. Well, so see, that's what I'm saying. Shouldn't be getting no bond.
To work as a videographer. And he thought, well, you know, I'm out on bond. Heck, let me go see if I can pick up a 14-year-old in Florida. And that's what he did. He showed up at our operation, and he was promptly arrested again for trying to have sex with a 14-year-old little boy, where he was put in jail on a $72,000 bond and required to have an ankle monitor. Well, you would think Minnesota would revoke his bond and say, hey, if you're out, you've got children at risk.
I told y'all how to be letting them off.
No, he hasn't been to trial yet. They haven't even revoked his bond.
No, see, that's
Minnesota's not.
That's the shit I be talking about, yo. They be letting that motherfucker slide, yo. That's crazy, man. He a 2-time offender, or at least 2-time charged. Said should get no bond at all, or at least, like he said, get his bond revoked in Minnesota.
Even trying to arrest him. Now we're working with the police up there that are working very hard to try to get him rearrested on their charges. Because after all, he didn't make his October 10th court appearance in Minnesota because he was tied up here. Now he's out on a bond wearing an ankle monitor, and he can't leave the state. So I don't know how he answers to the charges up there until he answers to the charges here. But at the end of the day, he made admissions to us. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the classic example. If these child predators are not locked up, children are in danger. And you would think that he would be afraid or scared or worried from his arrest in Minnesota doing the same thing. He would at least behave for a while. No, he comes right back to Florida, does the same thing. And then there's Ezekiel Mija from Haines City. He's here illegally. So here's an example. I want the current administration, the federal government, to understand, because you encourage, because you don't have any border security, that you are not only allowing but encouraging illegal people to come into this country to commit crime, to include child sex predators. He came here illegally, and his goal was to find a 14-year-old child and have sex with her. And that's what he was trying to do if it weren't for our great detectives. They traveled, folks. They actually showed up at a strange house in a strange community, in a strange neighborhood, in a strange county to have sex with a child. That's how dangerous. And he told them during his communication with what he thought was a 14-year-old child, you know, I could get in big trouble if I get caught. You think? Oh, by the way, did I tell you he's married with a 7-year-old daughter? And he sent his wife and daughter to North Carolina because of the threat of the storm, and he thought, hey, my wife and daughter are gone. The storm's not here yet. I'll just go see if I can have sex with a 14-year-old little girl. And then there's Brandon Orr. He's 28 from Kissimmee. He tried to have sex with a 14-year-old little girl. Newsflash, he is a lifeguard at Disney Art of Animation Resort. So he gets to be a lifeguard and sit up and look at children all day long while Disney's paying him. Did I tell you he's engaged to be married too? His wife, his future wife, can do what she wants, but I'm just thinking through this. You may want to go try to find you somebody else that's not a pedophile, not a child sex predator, because he's going to prison for a long time. We're going to do our best because our state attorney, Brian Haas, is the very best. His team is the very best. We're going to try to put them in prison for a long time. So I'm going to start with the chiefs, and then we're going to have our NGOs speak to you for just a second.
Good morning. My name is Steve Parker. I'm the Chief of Police for the City of Davenport. You know, and I look at these pictures and these numbers, you know, for these operations used to shock me. You know, 150, 200 in one operation. But we're doing so often now, it's not surprising anymore. But to me, what is surprising is some of the ancillary crimes and the immoral acts that spawn off of these types of things. Some of the things that Sheriff Judd talked about. To me, that's what's kind of shocking. You know, I want to thank Sheriff Judd and his team and all of our law enforcement partners here in Polk County and the entire Central Florida area for participating in this type of operation. These things like this is what we need to bring to the forefront to eradicate this. And these NGOs that stand up here with us, these are the true heroes. These are the ones that stand up here day in and day out and do the hard work. And so we appreciate your hard work as well. Thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm Captain Ty Thompson. I'm here on behalf of the Lakeland Police Department.
I happen to be the division commander of our Special Investigation Division, who is a participant in this operation. We'd like to thank Sheriff Judd and the Polk County Sheriff's Office for their proactive stance against crimes like this against our community. I'd just like to say, in addition to that, I know that this operation in and of itself is very labor intensive for those detectives and those investigators and law enforcement officers that are involved in it. Not only were they tied up on a very labor intensive operation that lasted well into the early morning hours of every night, that required multiple hours of overtime, they also were greeted by Hurricane Milton on the tail end of this. And some of those very detectives and police officers and law enforcement professionals are still out on the streets of this community trying to put it back together. So I'm very proud to be a part of this.
When I heard the words human trafficking, I came across a video on YouTube. Good morning, my name is Cristina Santiago, and I'm here today as a survivor, leader, and mentor with One More Child Anti-Trafficking Mobile Team. I am honored to stand here today with Polk County Sheriff's Office and with many other amazing organizations that are continuously fighting for survivors to be seen and heard. It wasn't until 2020 when I heard the words human trafficking. I came across a video on YouTube where a young woman was sharing her trafficking story. Much of what she shared, I identified with. It was like a light switch that went off, and I realized that someone out there, miles away from me, walked in similar shoes. I said to myself, my abuse has a name. I went down this rabbit hole and began searching what is human trafficking. Much of my exploitation took place in high school due to having vulnerabilities, which made me a target for exploitation. I was manipulated, groomed, and through coercion, it led to the start of my trafficking. Towards the end of my senior year, I was assaulted, which resulted in an unwanted pregnancy, which I was later forced by my trafficker to have an abortion. As a survivor, my story did not end there. I have spent the last 8 years healing through therapy and support from loved ones. During the last 2 years, I have been given the opportunity to use my experience to better serve other survivors. I am grateful to advocate for other survivors and to use my own personal experience when partnering with law enforcement during these operations. If you are watching this and can identify and are in need of help, please reach out to our organization here at One More Child. The scars from my past serve as a reminder that not only did I experience a difficult situation, but I made it through. Scars are not only a sign of trauma, but they are also a sign of healing. After all, there is no scar until the wound is closed. My scars help others know she gets it. And today my message.
Good morning. My name is Katie Parchment. I'm the Resiliency Coordinator for Heartland for Children and also the co-chair for the Human Trafficking Task Force that covers Polk, Highlands, and Hardy counties. First, we would like to extend our gratitude to Sheriff Judd and the many men and women in law enforcement who took part of this operation. The level of compassion, professionalism, and determination to identify victims of human trafficking and their traffickers is unmatched. The gift of working collaboratively with other NGOs and law enforcement to provide immediate intervention and support is a model that is unique to the Polk County Sheriff Department. This collaborative approach fosters information sharing and a broad spectrum of expertise that oftentimes lead to innovative solutions to combat human trafficking. Having the ability to provide a trauma-informed environment when speaking to potential victims allows for enhanced communication and reduced trauma triggers during this process. I'm confident that I can speak for myself and the other NGOs involved that being able to meet and pour into the men and women who we meet during these operations is more rewarding and inspirational than you could ever imagine. Heartland for Children works hand in hand with the Department of Children and Families to provide intervention, services, and support to help protect children at risk of abuse, neglect, or threatened harm. Through services that can help foster behavioral changes and prevention programs to help strengthen families, our mission is to protect children and help support families to self-sufficiency. We understand that sometimes being in this life is a means of survival. There are several free resources available to help people experiencing difficult times.
Yeah, that's
You
crazy.
can
I'm
reach
gonna
out
get
to
back
find
to
help
these.
out.
These operations to save the victims because they're important to us. And ladies, you will never understand just how great you are and what a dynamic
How you like this?
We have now, because you join us at every operation, every step of the way, and we can turn these potential victims over to you immediately, not with some bureaucratic paperwork. But I want to close with this. Imagine for a second, a country where we had border security, where we did not spend millions upon millions upon millions of dollars dealing with illegal people coming across the border, the wide open border, welcome with open arms and given resources for just being illegal in our country. Imagine if we closed the border and could take those resources and spend them on the victims of human trafficking. Imagine if we could take those resources and spend them on those that are suffering from mental illness and drug addiction in this country. There is enough money being wasted by the federal government and the executive branch to make a huge dent in the mental health issues, to the drug addiction issues, to the human trafficking victims of this country if we just cut the border off and quit causing not only the federal government to spend. We're not even talking about the trickle down of the additional millions and millions that state and locals are spending that amount to billions.
Yeah, that shit out of control, man. Ain't lying.
We could have a country where we spent that money on people that are citizens here that deserve to have the help that they need, that they can't afford, that their families can't
Complaining
afford.
what it is.
And if we keep doing the same old thing, we're going to end up with the same old problems magnified. The border's wide open. The federal government is a player in the crime that's occurring in this country because of people like these illegals coming here to commit crime. God bless you all. We'll see you at the next operation, and I'll guarantee you we'll be back. If we didn't get you in this operation, we'll get you in the next one. You're on your way to the county jail. You just don't realize it yet. For Santa Claus, ask for money so you can put it in the account when you come to jail.
What the fuck? Hey, yo, he'll play no games. And I ain't gonna lie, shit. He kept it real, though. That shit is a problem, man. A major problem. You know why they did it? They did it for election purposes. They flooded all these motherfuckers in, try to get them to be able to register to vote. Because a lot of people in the black community is turning their back on the Democratic Party. So they tried to bring them in to replace them. Like, yo, you know the game. I called that shit probably 2-3 years ago. I've been peeped what they was doing. And that shit fuck around is illegal. It is, y'all. Like, yo, that shit is a crime. Everything that we got going on over here, man, and they motherfucking just bringing them motherfuckers in by the fucking busloads, dropping them off in Chicago, dropping them off in Baltimore, just dropping them off everywhere. Like, god damn. Like, what the fuck is this? Yo, the other day, y'all, I was riding past my house, and I don't even be saying them out here. It was a lady standing on the corner with a sign with her kids talking about, will work for food or some shit like that. I said, yo, god damn, they even all be out here. And that's the first time I ever seen them out here. So that just let you know the population is growing. And it's not that people can't come over here. It's just that they bring them over here illegal. You're not doing no background checks. You got a whole school in Baltimore that was always predominantly black. Now, Passing Park High School in Baltimore is beefing with the Hispanics over there. Beefing, full-out war. Because of the shit that we got going on in this country, where we just allowing these motherfuckers to come over here and we just giving them everything. Everything. Meanwhile, you can't get nothing. I told you I got denied unemployment after I worked for 5 years. You feel me? Couldn't get shit. You said Virginia too, they doing it everywhere. Then they strung me along for a whole year. Yo, I'm talking about a whole year. I'm like, god damn, like what the fuck is this? Like, yo, we living in wild times, yo. But another problem we got going on right now, yo, is kids committing crimes, yo. Kids committing crimes. And A lot of people was upset. A lot of people want to know what's going on. A lot of people want to know why. So I found this. Listen to this right here.
Wix gives you the power of AI.
Y'all know my issue is No Child Left Behind. Yo, I think No Child Left Behind is a major player in what we see with our youth, what we saying from these parents, what we saying in general, and nobody is talking about it. Like, yo, how is it? Yo, we in a presidential election. How is No Child Left Behind not even a topic? It's not even a topic. If Kamala Harris, if she want to get some fucking votes, that's what she need to be talking about. No Child Left Behind. The shit need to be repealed immediately. Immediately, y'all. Yo, for 20 years, y'all, we've been passing failing children. 20 years. Like, yo, you know, people understand how long? Yo, that's 2 decades. We've been passing failing fucking children. And then we want it. So look, this the remedy for them. Send them to jail. Why the parents ain't doing this? Why the parents ain't doing that? But it's like, what you mean? The parents got the fucking education of probably a 9th grader. So what the fuck do you expect? Like, yo, the thought process of No Child Left Behind was they was trying to force kids that was in their 20s, they was trying to force them out of school. I get that. But in turn, what else it did was, y'all know how these bills work. It's the headlining issue, then it's the underlying issues that's really probably the most important factors in the whole bill. But what it did was it incentivized public schooling, which means that they started standardized testing. And with standardized testing, if you didn't pass the test, they gave, say, all right, they did it in 2020. Say they gave schools to 2010. By 2010, we need to have your kids reading on this level, performing at this level. So if it didn't happen, guess what happened, y'all? Schools got shut down. Schools ain't received funding. So it's a domino effect. So when schools don't receive funding, what's going to happen? If you're a principal, right? If you're a principal and you got all these schools shutting down around you, teachers going unemployed, what are you going to do? You don't want your school to go down. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to lose your staff. What are you going to do? Start lying on test grades. Start lying on scores. So now they passing kids just for coming to school. It's insane. Yo, and it's been going on for 20 years and nobody's saying nothing. Nobody. Only person talking about this shit is Keeping G News. And yo, this is a major fucking problem in the community. Nobody's speaking on it. Everybody act like this shit don't exist. And then you wonder why these parents acting how they acting. They ain't got no fucking education. Just like the children. So it's like, how can you dealing with parents that's ignorant, trying to raise children they already, what the fuck, they ain't got a chance. They don't got a chance. But what the system want to do is send them to prison. No, I'm not fucking with that. I'm not fucking with that. Yeah, they do some wild shit. But what do you expect when you broke down the fucking education system? You broke it down, it's depleted. And we don't even want to get to, we talk about the internet all the time. We don't even want to get to talking about the internet and the bullshit that's being promoted on the internet. So I'm not surprised by what we get. I'm not surprised. So look at this situation right here.
To build the website you need with full business function. The target of.
Look at this situation right here. So I'm gonna show y'all a few situations that happened recently.
Crime when she was actually trying to help another mother and daughter, and just how little these kids are in this video is unbelievable. Along the waterfront in the Canton neighborhood.
Look how clean it is.
Lydia was out for a walk with her 11-month-old daughter.
Usually I walk along the waterfront so she can look at all the ducks and the geese and the boats.
That's when she noticed 2 juveniles harassing another mom and her daughter sitting on a bench. That's when she took out her phone to document it.
You see on like all the Facebook neighborhood groups, You know, does anybody have any photos? Does anybody have any pictures of like this happened and we were attacked?
And that's when the two juveniles turned their attention to
For
Lydia.
real?
Like they're like, give me your phone. I was like, no, you can't have this phone.
Demanding she
Man,
delete
we
the
got
picture.
put the
Things only
team
went from
together or
bad to
something.
worse.
They were threatening, harassing her, and said, you know, you're lucky we don't snap your baby's neck, and a bunch of other things.
The pair taking aim at Lydia's baby. Lydia ran inside Bayside Cantina, hoping to get help.
You know, they tried to throw a bottle at me when I entered.
Here she is, seen on the restaurant surveillance video, not far behind.
Look at this shit, man.
Very small juveniles.
Look
Like
at
I was
this.
asking for help. They immediately like tried to put themselves between me and the kids.
Bayside staff quickly coming to her rescue, forcing the kids out before calling the police. The ordeal leaving Lydia with thoughts of what could have been.
Said you don't want to have to
Look
like
at this
attack
little boy,
or
man.
harm a child to say like to protect your own child, but I definitely would have. Like I would have done anything to protect her.
Now, like many others, this mom is wanting more when it comes to accountability.
I don't know what that looks like. Definitely like some sort of punishment, some sort of disciplinary action. It just seems that there's no real consequence or no real path to help guide them away from doing.
Yo, but that's not gonna work. And see, and this is the issue. This is the issue, yo. Sending them to prison is not gonna work. And yo, I don't think, yo, that's not what we want to do, yo. I don't give a fuck how much the news promoted, how much they presented to us. Yo, that is not the route to go, yo. You don't want to start sending kids to prison. In Maryland, they already passing a law that expanded the charges for 12-year-olds. They put us with the $30 million in a juvenile prison, but they're not putting no money in recreational programs. Yo, I keep telling people, yo, boredom is why these kids do this, yo. It's boredom. Yo, I remember being bored, yo, and throwing eggs at throwing eggs at buses and shit. Yo, it's boredom, yo. When kids are full of energy. When they don't got shit to do, nothing to do, yo, they're going to find something to do. And more times than often, especially when you're dealing with urban environments or you're dealing with kids that follow behind other kids, it's going to be something negative. So this child told this mother that she was going to snap, they was going to snap the 11-month-old baby neck. That's what happened.
You know, aggressive,
They don't
like
play hide and seek
violence,
no
stuff
more,
like
fly
that.
guy.
Meanwhile, as a mother, she has a message for the kids.
They probably
that
know
are
nothing about
looking
hide
to
and
do
seek.
her and her daughter harm.
You know, you could hurt somebody else, but you're going to ruin your life too if you do something, and especially if you continue to do it, and then you're an adult. Then you do have consequences.
Now, we know Baltimore police did respond to the restaurant. It's not clear if any arrests were made.
I
but
know
you can
that's
see
what
just
they're
how
trying to
small
do.
those two individuals were in that video. So under current Maryland law, they likely would have been released to their guardian.
Look,
For now,
you see how they make that a point? You see what they doing, y'all. They shit, hold on. They're making it a point of contention or a point of emphasis to show that, you know, if they get locked up, they coming straight home. Yo, but this is what I'm saying, yo. It's a domino effect. Yo, you can't punish the kids without punishing the parents first. You gotta hold, like, yo, why we sit here trying to hold kids accountable. And yo, this guy hella support. Lock him up. Yo, it's not, yo, kids are not worried about, oh, I'm going straight to my parents. Yeah, they might say that, yo, but they're gonna commit the crime anyway. They're not thinking about consequences, yo. They're not thinking about consequences. I know that just sound crazy, yo, but that's just what it is. Look at some of the crimes. Let me find another one. Hey, Flag, I'm ready to go to that one you sent me. Yo, know what we used to do for boredom? Beat people up, pick with people, try to start a fight. That's what we did for boredom when I was a teenager. Try to start a fight. That's what most kids do. When they don't got nothing to do, that's what most kids do. And it's not even just boys, y'all. It's boys and girls. It's boys and girls. Look at this. This probably one of the fucking saddest stories in a fucking that's out right now. I went to Woodlawn. It's probably one of the saddest stories out right now. With a respected degree online from WGU. Scholarships available at WGU. Yeah, but where all these straps come from? We ain't had that many straps like that.
Tonight in the
Look at this story though.
We've got some new information tonight on the fatal beating of a disabled man last October in the district.
Reggie Brown was out for a late-night walk in Northwest. As he walked along Georgia Avenue, police say a group of teenage girls attacked him. 5 were charged in the case. 2 have pled guilty.
Today, during the trial for 2 of the girls, testimony revealed a stunning and disturbing reason for the beating. News 4's Paul Wagner was there in the courtroom and has the story.
Good evening. One of the 5 girls accused of taking part in the fatal beating of Reggie Brown and has already pled guilty in this case, took the stand and testified for the prosecution. When she was asked what they were doing that night, she replied that they were out looking to beat someone up.
Look,
and when the prosecutor
what I tell you, fly guy, they was walking around looking to beat somebody up because they didn't have nothing to do, y'all. This is what kids do, y'all. I don't know how to explain it, but this is what kids do when there's nothing else to do. You know why they do it? Give them something to talk about, you know. Adrenaline rush, you know. Kids got energy, burn some energy off. Give them something to talk about for the next week, cause there's nothing to do. It's yo, if you don't give kids nothing to do, they're gonna find something to do, yo. They're gonna go fucking steal a car. They're going to go rob somebody. It's like, yo, we're not going to solve the problems locking kids up. We're not going to solve the problems that way, yo. What do we? This is what I'm saying. What are we trying to accomplish? Do we want to solve the problems, or do we want to just send kids to prison? Like, I think that's the question that people really need to ask themselves, yo. Do we want to solve the problem, or do we want to send kids to prison? Can't do both. Because sending kids to prison is going to keep that's not going to fix the problem. That's going to become a bigger problem. Like, yo, this is not Mission Impossible, yo. It's like they presenting it like it's Mission Impossible, yo. This is not Mission Impossible, yo. Yo, Baltimore City got 30 schools shut down. 30 schools, y'all. Every single one of these schools got a gym. Open them motherfuckers up. Give people some jobs. You can open up them schools, probably open up 10 jobs in the process. Yo, you gotta give the neighborhood something to do, man. Or they're gonna make something to do, y'all. It's simple. Like, yo, but they present this problem like it's so hard to fix. Nobody understands what's wrong with the kids. How do we fix? Yo, it's not that hard, yo. It ain't that fucking hard, man. Yo, we used to have a PAL program, man. Yo, the PAL program saved lives back in the day, man. What the fuck happened to that? Why won't we bring PAL back? Like, yo, it's similar to what I always say when you talk about crime in the community. You know, Charleston White, lock them up. Yo, locking people up never solves anything. Because the neighborhood breeds criminals. So it don't matter how many you lock up. If the neighborhood is breeding criminals, what's going to happen is there's going to be another batch of criminals coming up. We were just going to lock up the whole community. Yo, that is never going to work. It's never going to work. It hasn't worked. This is a system that already tried and failed. Mass incarceration failed. It failed. So why are we trying to now mass incarcerate the kids? Like, nobody got no better ideas. Or is it just that when it come down to the poor people, they rather just send them to jail? When it come down to poor people, that's the remedy. Send them to jail. But that's not going to fix nothing, yo. We heard Biden say it out of his mouth in 1995. That man said, it don't matter if they was what he say? If they was the forgotten people in society. That's what Joe said. It don't matter, yo, if it's our fault. They must be off the streets. That was your exact words, man. But the crazy thing about it is you got parents my age and younger and older, and these are our kids, man. Like, yo, why are we trying to send our kids to prison? Yo, all they need is some guidance, yo. Guidance. That's all they need, man. All they need is somebody all they need is a person in their life that they can look at them and say, this person care about me, yo. Like, yo, it's not Mission Impossible, man. It's not Mission Impossible, yo. A father figure, right? They need mentors. They need father figures. They need guidance. They need resources. Like, yo, they don't need prison. Prison ain't gonna fix shit. It's like, yo, if you a man, right, and you got a sister or a cousin, and her kids ain't got no father around, yo, that's your job, yo. You gotta pick that responsibility up, man. Man, I'm gonna come through, pick my little cousins up for a minute. Yo, I told y'all about the story. I wish Mike was here, yo. Hey, Mike, you in the chat? You watching this live? Yo, I was working at a job called NCIA. And I used to work with people with disabilities. And I told this story before, yo, but I never forget it, yo. I never forget this story, yo, because it stuck to me that much. Yo, we pulled up to the Gwen Oak Park. Pulled up to Gwen Oak Park. I was taking my clients out there. We was going out there to feed the birds and shit. So it was two boys and their mother, right? Two boys and their mother. So we had the football. So we throwing the football, me and my clients. So little kids like, yo, can we play? I'm like, hey, come on, shorty, y'all can play. Yo, we threw the ball with them, yo. Man, you can see the fucking joy in their eyes just to have another black man's attention. You feel me? Yo, like, that's why I wish Mike was here, yo. He'll vouch for this story. I know he ain't gonna forget it either. Because when we left, we was talking about it like, damn. And me being a child whose father wasn't around, I know that look. I identified it immediately. Like, damn. Sure, they need, and these kids probably older now. Ain't no telling what the fuck, how their life panned out. You feel me? This was probably 2015, 16. They probably 17 years old now or something like that. They was young kids. But what I seen in their eyes, it just showed me a lot, yo. Like, damn, yo, these kids is missing that. You know, kids need both parents, yo. They need, like, yo, people don't understand, yo, how important that is, yo. You got motherfuckers that's promoting having multiple kids. You feel me? I just watching a boy go yo on Say Cheese talking about shit. One baby mother shit. I got a baby mother here, baby mother there, yo. But that's not how we supposed to be, yo. That shit ain't cool, man. Yeah, I know people make mistakes. People, you know, people living life, yo. But that shouldn't be your goal. Your goal is to find one chick and rock out. That's the goal, yo. Thick it thin. Keep moving. That's how you move up the ladder, yo. That's how you set your family up for success, yo. But people don't understand that, yo. People don't get it. Because right now, it's being promoted in our community that worry about yourself. You know, everybody got the worry about yourself mentality, yo. And worrying about yourself ain't going to do shit for the community. It ain't going to do nothing for the community, man. You got to have two parents, Steve Kiff. You already know because, like, all right, me and my girl situation, right? She worked. You feel me? Hella hours. So I work sometimes. You feel me? I sold drugs. That was my job. I sold drugs. I took care of the kids. She worked. You know. But take me out the equation. Take me out the equation. And her situation to be like how my mother's situation was. 3 kids, single mother, gotta do everything on your own. So now we being raised by grandparents, aunts, whoever, and yo, that is not a recipe for success, yo, with children, yo. It can work, yo, but it fails often. And every time, yo, we see these situations where you got these kids that's wilding out, who do we see on the news? Mother, grandmother, aunt, sister, no men around. And it's a couple reasons why, you know. I think we got better. I gotta keep it real. We got way better than it was when I was young. Cause when I was young, fucking the 80s babies, it wasn't damn near no fathers around. Because, you know, the crack epidemic and mass incarceration, we fell victim to that. So why are we trying to push that narrative again, yo, when we know that that's the same shit that put us here? The same practices that they pushing on us, the ones that got relaxed over time, is the same practices that put us here. And niggas wanting it again. We wanting it again, yo. Like, yo, I remember vividly my mother struggling. You feel me? Raising 3 kids. She got to wake us all up for school, take us to school, get like, yo, that shit is a hassle, yo. It's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. Can it be done? Yes. But why does it have to be hard when it can be easy? You feel me? Why does it have to be hard, yo, when motherfuckers can just get along and make this shit work? It don't gotta be that way, man. Don't gotta be that way, yo. But yo, we just got a lot of issues, yo. But I be damned if I'm gonna blame the children. Not blaming the children, yo. Children don't think about consequences. And everybody say, well, they know what they doing. It's like, oh, do they really? Yo, it's some adults that don't know what they doing. How we gonna say a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old know what they doing? The adults still make mistakes. You feel me? Like, yo, everybody make mistakes, yo, rather, no matter how big or how little it is. It's a fucking mistake. It's a mistake, yo. And I'd never be on the angle of sending kids away for life, yo. I told y'all I done seen young boys, 16, 17, 50 years in prison. You feel me? I'm 38 years old now. I be looking back at them, thinking about that shit like, damn, yo, they still in there, yo. They probably ain't the same person no more. But they paying for a decision that they made when they was a fucking child, yo. That shit not cool. It ain't. It ain't cool, yo. And if you ain't never been there, yo, you probably don't understand it, yo. But it ain't. You know, me looking back at 38, Ray be 39 in a couple days. Looking back at it like, damn, yo, like, I made a lot of bad decisions. I did a lot of shit that was stupid. That I never do now. But yet we sentencing kids at 15 years old. And they got to live with a decision the rest of their life in prison that they made when they was fucking 15 years old. And people don't think that's wrong. 15 years old, yo. So when they die in prison, they're going to spend the bulk of their life in prison and less time they spent on the streets. Man, that shit not cool, man. That shit not cool, man. It's not cool, yo. It's not conducive to success. How is it helping? How is sending kids away for life and sending kids away for all these years? How is that helping? That's what I'm saying. What is the goal? If the goal is just to send kids to prison, fuck it, send them all to prison. But if the goal is for a better community, then yo, what the fuck are we doing? What we doing? Florida native, what's the goal? It's not helping society. The community breeds criminals. It's not helping society, yo. Like, yo, why do y'all think that? That don't help nothing. Knocking kids away don't help nothing, yo. You gotta fix the community first. Like, yo, it's amazing to me how many people don't get that. The people change with the environment, yo. That's what evolution was, yo. What the fuck? You learned about evolution in school. Where was evolution? People change with the environment, yo. Things change over time, yo. You change the environment, the people change. It's not the opposite. It don't work that way. Because, like I say, yo, Baltimore breed criminals. Chicago breed criminals. Florida and them hoods in Florida breed criminals. Because how are criminals born? How are criminals made? Out of desperation, out of ignorance, out of lack of education. That's how criminals are made, man. So no matter how many you lock up, if you don't fix those components, then you're just gonna be locking up kids for the rest of like for 100 years. But the community is always going to be the same. That's why I say, y'all, it just boils down to what the fuck, what we in it for, what you want. But locking kids up ain't fixing shit. It ain't fixing nothing. Locking up black men at enormous rates is what got us here. That's what got us here, man. The mass incarceration devastated the black community, man. Devastated it. We still trying to recover. We still trying to recover, man. And we trying to go back to it, man. Y'all crazy, man. I can't never get behind that. Nobody said it was a government job.
Why?
Matter of fact, it is the government job. Brian Thy Priest, it is the government job. They helped every fucking body else. That's another problem. They helped everybody else. Why is it when black people say they need help, why is this not the government job? They helped everybody else. They helping them fucking immigrants as we speak. Fuck that. We can X them out. Everybody had help, yo. Slavery gave Caucasians a huge leg up. Hiroshima bomb got dropped on Japan. The Native Americans, they got motherfucking reservations. They get checks every month. Only people ain't get help was blacks and the motherfucking Latinos. The Asian community. Hiroshima, they got paid. The Jews. Everybody got help, yo. But why is it that when we talk about black community, oh no, it's not the government, it is. They helped everybody else, yo. Can we keep it real? Can we keep it real? Like, yo, come on now, yo, like this different. I don't know, a lot of y'all must ain't never been here before. Like, yo, I'm not one of the ones you can just say a blanket statement to you. Like, I ain't Charleston White. No, yo, everybody got help, man. And they got casinos. Exactly. Everybody got help, yo. But whenever black people say we need help, and we ain't even asking for, all we asking is to fix the problems y'all fucking made. Y'all made them problems, man. They took all the resources out of the community. Yo, I remember when I was young, it was black-owned corner stores. Everywhere. Everywhere. What the fuck happened to that? It was black-owned corner stores, man. Lucky's Groceries, Mondawmin Avenue, black-owned. Like, yo. The fuck the other one there? I can't remember the other store. Yo, but it was different, yo. Like, yo, we gotta keep it real, man.
She replied, "We were bored." The first girl to plead guilty in the case took the stand today in Juvenile court and revealed what took place in the moments leading up to the
got no
beating.
connection to Africa,
The girl, now 15 and testifying under a grant of immunity, said as the five walked up Georgia Avenue, they saw a man only identified as Blue Coat beating Reggie Brown. The 15-year-old said Mr. Brown was on the ground. He was being attacked. By who? Said the prosecutor. A man. He was wearing a blue coat. He pushed Mr. Brown to the ground. He then walked up to us, and I asked him why he was beating him up. What did he say? I don't remember what he said. I asked if we could help. He said yes. Blue Coat has never been identified.
Well,
the 15-year-old, contrary to prior testimony in the case, told the court Blue Coat never threatened them if they refused to take part in the beating. The prosecutor said, what happened next? We started hitting him. His pants got pulled off. I kicked him. Was Mr. Brown saying anything? He said, stop. Did he say anything else? He stopped talking. I stepped back because I noticed something was wrong. As the prosecutor played the video of the beating one of the girls recorded on her cell phone that night, two of Brown's sisters walked out of the courtroom. The video shows the girl stomping on Brown's head. He appears to be unconscious and bleeding. We spoke with two of Brown's sisters outside the courthouse. You sat in there and watched that video. I mean, that was really hard.
I listened. I watched
hell yeah, I remember
and
Penny
listened.
Candy.
From what I heard, they know that boy. They all rejoice together. A stranger don't rejoice with you like that. They rejoice as friends.
The 15-year-old testified today she does not know who Blue Coat is. During a morning motions hearing, the judge revealed a second girl has pleaded guilty in the case, but it's unclear when that happened and what charge she pleaded guilty to. The trial resumes tomorrow. At D.C. Superior Court, Paul Wagner, News 4.
15-year-old girls. Yo, this is a boredom crime, yo. Yo, beating up people, stealing cars, robbing people. Yo, that's a boredom crime. It is. And it's crazy, yo, because you would think something like boredom would be an easy fix. You feel me? That's the thing about it, yo. You would think, that's the same video we just watched. You would think something like boredom would be an easy fucking fix. Why is it that why are we having such a hard time, yo, figuring that out? And then they said, well, we got resources, yo, but they're not doing a good job, yo, of letting the community know what's out there, yo, for people to do. It's another story. It's another story. Hold on. Just saying, yo. Yo, in order to get this problem right, yo, first we got to acknowledge where the problem lies. It's not the kids, yo. It's not the kids. Matter of fact, I just saying some shit earlier that it's in my text message. My mother sent it to me. Here you go, right here.
But our live team coverage begins with Fox 45's Keith Daniels and the new information in this Columbia shooting investigation. Keith.
Well, Kai, both suspects are behind bars at this hour. Both are being held without bond at the Howard County.
And that like button, y'all want to support the platform, yo. Cash App at the bottom of the screen, man. Support the movement, man. We trying to keep it real. We just trying, what's going on right now in the news, yo, and how they paint these kids out is wrong, yo. It's wrong, yo. This the same shit they always do. This is how we end up voting for stiffer gun laws and stiffer crime on kids. Like, yo, this is how they do it. They do it through the fucking media, yo, because black people are emotional. And we get in situations where, yo, everybody want to see a better community. Nobody likes what's going on with these kids right now. Nobody likes it. But what the media figured out and what the news does is they show you this constantly. 16-year-old did this. 12-year-old did that. 13-year-old did this. 14-year-old did that. So now we just like, man, fuck it, lock them up. Lock them up. But that's what the fuck they want you to say. That's what they want you to say, yo. But locking them up won't fix nothing. Won't fix nothing, yo. I'm telling y'all, yo, it never fixed nothing. It only made problems worse. When we set up some motherfucking parenting classes for fucking kids, parents, you know, if your child miss certain amount of days in school, you gotta go to some type of parenting class. When we start shit like that, you know what I mean? I got back kid. Yo, if you start holding the parents accountable, I bet these kids start getting right. I'm talking about holding them accountable off the rip. I bet they get right then. Yo, right now in most cities, in most states, the system don't even help parents with these children until they get in trouble. They gotta get in trouble first. But as a parent, a lot of parents, you notice your kid is a problem way before they get in trouble. You can look at the traits. Motherfucker don't listen. You can peep it way before they get in trouble, but the system won't allow any type of help, won't give you any kind of help until they actually commit a crime. Why they gotta commit a crime first? Why they gotta commit a crime first? Because you want to get them in the system. Now you got full control of them. Nah, man, once you get them problem children help early. Early. Why they gotta commit a crime? Who is your fool your mother? She said this, she tried to get her son help when she seen him acting out when he was young. That's what they told her in Florida. No, he gotta commit a crime first. We can't do nothing until he commit a crime. I covered the story out DC. Similar situation. Parent did everything possible to get this child help. No help. Ain't got nothing for him. Yo, for one, yo, as black men, yo, we gotta start being fathers to our children. We just gotta be better. You know, not even to our children, yo, to our nephews and nieces, and yo, we just gotta be better, yo. Lack of guidance, yo, is what's leading us down this path. Lack of guidance, lack of resources, lack of understanding, lack of schooling, lack of funding. We lacking in a lot of places, man. That's what's up.
The nature of the relationship between that 14-year-old suspect, the other teen suspect, and the victim, and what led.
Look at this, y'all. They killed a 26-year-old man.
Tonight, a second teenager
definitely
arrested and charged in connection with last week's murder of a man found in a car parked behind an office building on Center Park Drive in Columbia.
And this is in Columbia, y'all. And that's another thing, too, y'all. We starting to see these bizarre crimes. They're not even in the city no more. We starting to see them motherfuckers further and further out in these rural areas. Yo, I just covered the case. And it was in Florida. A rural part of Florida. Damn, what the fuck the name of that city? It's on my page. 3 teens killed 3 of their friends. Killed them. They was a little gang. They hung together. They did robberies. They did burglaries. Yo, we just got a lot of issues, yo. Drill music plays a major role. Nobody wants to talk about that. Like, nobody wants to talk about the real issues. And that's the shit that be burning me up, yo. Yep, Garrett. That's what it was. Nobody wants to talk about the real issues. Like, we got real issues that need addressed. Like, but nobody wants to talk about it. That's why I be questioning the Umar Johnsons and the Amai Sons and like, yo, you guys supposed to have all this insight, all this knowledge. You got all the resources, but yet and still, you don't want to address the real problems. Y'all rather dance around the bitches, you know, put on a good show, make it seem like you really for the people, but No Child Left Behind, that shit is fucking like a shining light. Nobody's mentioning it. And that's worldwide. United States wide. That ain't just in fucking Baltimore. That shit is that shit is a federal law, man. So if they're doing it in Baltimore, I know they're doing it in Florida. They're doing it in Florida, I know they're doing that shit every... Yo, this shit crazy, yo. Yo, this shit crazy, yo. It's crazy, yo. But nobody's talking about it, though. Meanwhile, our kids are dying and getting killed. They dying and killing in every fucking major city in the United States.
They say it's a 14-year-old boy from Severn taken into custody Wednesday at his high school in Anne Arundel County. A juvenile charged as an adult with first-degree murder. Earlier this week, a 17-year-old from Ellicott City arrested in connection with the homicide. He, too, charged as an adult with first-degree murder. Howard County Police
will take any questions you may have.
At a news conference Thursday with how they tracked down the suspects.
In the course of the investigation, detectives reviewed many additional hours of surveillance video from the area and used a variety of other investigative techniques to identify these suspects.
The victim, 26-year-old Kendrick McClellan of Baltimore, Police believe he was shot October 9th at about 5 p.m., where his body was found 3 days later. Investigators say he knew his alleged young killers.
We believe that the victim picked up both suspects from a residence in Ellicott City and drove to that location in Columbia where he was shot. We believe that the victim and 17-year-old suspect knew each other, but the nature of their relationship and the motive for the shooting remain unknown.
Police arrested the 17-year-old at Howard High School, where he's a student. Investigators say he was wearing an ankle monitor under the supervision of the Maryland Department of Juvenile Services for a previous incident in Anne Arundel County, and was found with a loaded gun in his backpack.
It was a privately made firearm, or a ghost gun, if you will. It was manipulated to be fully automatic, and it had an extended magazine.
Meanwhile, the victim's mother,
when he didn't respond, it just felt like, something wrong.
who wants to remain anonymous out of safety concerns, tells Fox 45 by phone she's relieved both suspects are charged as adults.
They get put on the monitor. That's a slap on the wrist and a second chance, but these kids don't want a second chance. The parents ain't doing nothing. They not being concerned about it.
Look, you see what I'm talking about? These kids don't want a second chance. These kids ain't even thinking about a second chance. They ain't even thinking about a first chance. Like, yo, we can't blame the children, yo. If anything, we can blame the parents, yo. We can't blame the fucking children, man. They children. Like, yo, adults still make mistakes, yo. How are we blaming children? Like, yo, that shit is crazy, yo. But this is the common, what she just said, and I don't want to pick on her because a lot of people think this way. This looked like something I seen on the news. Her whole answer was something I seen on the news.
Want a second chance. The parents ain't doing nothing. They not being concerned. Slap on the wrist and a second.
Both suspects are charged as adults.
They get put on the monitor. That's a slap on the wrist and a second chance, but these kids don't want a second chance. The parents ain't doing nothing. They not being concerned about it. Like, if they doing a crime, they need to do the time.
Well, it's not clear tonight what previous contact the 14-year-old may have had with police, but Howard County Police say they are familiar with the 17-year-old, but they did not go into details as to how. We're live tonight, Keith.
Yeah, they dying younger and younger, and they dying younger and younger, and we trying to open them prisons up to them younger and younger too. We trying to open them prisons up younger and younger. Look. Let's see what Bush had to say about No Child Left Behind.
Teams switching off on Miro, the innovation workspace.
Versus what it really did.
It's time to come together to get it done, so that we can truthfully say in America, no child will be left behind. Not one single child.
The president's nearly $48 billion education plan includes testing children annually to more closely monitor
But I tell you, hold up. Look. You see how, now look how they touted it versus what actually happened. Listen to how they touted this bill versus what actually happened.
And includes testing children annually to more closely monitor reading and math skills, rewarding schools where grades improve, and punishing failing schools by cutting federal money to districts that don't show progress, and allowing parents of children in public schools that fail 3 years in a row to use tax dollars, government vouchers, to move their children to private schools. But this last part, vouchers, makes Democrats wary. In fact, Mr. Bush didn't even mention it by name.
Schools do not teach and will not change. Parents and students must have other meaningful options.
Democrats say spending federal money on private schools undermines public schools. Even so, some key
but that don't work. What the fuck happened to the last part of the bill? Nobody uses that part. Nobody uses the part of the bill that said after 3 years of your child failing, you get to go to a private school.
Federal money on private schools undermines public schools. Even so, some key Democrats say they're eager to work with the new president.
There are some areas of difference, but the overwhelming areas of agreement and support are very, very powerful.
And other Democrats, including Senator Joe Lieberman, offered their own education plan minus vouchers.
That we cannot afford to wait any
They both
longer
was with
to
it.
craft a serious national response to what is clearly a serious national problem.
Wolf Blitzer, CNN, Washington.
The education they deserve.
Look, all of them was in it. All of them was in on
With
it.
Zine, you can stream free local TV from all over the country.
All of them was in on it. Look, you type in No Child Left Behind, you find nothing, y'all. What should replace No Child Left Behind? Look, Barack Obama. Shit devastated us. Now, I'm gonna read an article so you can show you what actually happened.
Now we know that the goals of this law were the right ones. We know that making the promise to educate every child with an excellent teacher is right. We know that high standards and accountability in the abstract are right. We know that it's right to close the achievement gap that exists in too many cities and towns, and that it's right to focus on the inequitable distribution of resources and qualified teachers in our schools. We didn't need some words in a law to tell us this. We already knew this, and every one of us is still willing to do whatever it takes to make these goals a reality.
You definitely take a village.
But don't come up with this law called No Child Left Behind and then leave the money behind. Don't tell us that you'll put high-quality teachers in every classroom and then leave the support and the pay for those teachers behind. Don't label a school as failing one day and then throw your hands up and walk away from it the next. Don't tell us that the only way to teach a child is to spend too much of a year preparing him to fill out a few bubbles in a standardized test. We know that's not true. You didn't devote your lives to testing. You devoted it to teaching. And teaching is what you should be allowed to do.
The fuck is he? He sound like a goddamn reverend. He just said a whole bunch of fucking nothing. Like, yo, let me show y'all what this did. But it's crazy though, y'all. You see how it's no videos done on this. Only people speaking on this shit is motherfucking politicians. 17 years ago. Look, remember they didn't want him to be president. Bernie Sanders, they kicked his ass out. Made sure he could never be president. Look how long ago, yo. Why is nobody speaking on this? Now let's look at it. Nobody's speaking on it. Nobody spoke on No Child Left Behind in 10 years. Shit is crazy. Oh no, so somebody did How No Child Left Behind failed. I'm just gonna read that article. Like, yo, this shit devastated us, yo. It's killing the community. It's killing the community. So somebody drafted up a bill when this was. George Bush. I ain't really read that. That's too much. I ain't gonna do all that. The shit closed schools down, man. You heard how they standardized the schools, added structure to educational programs. It held teachers and administrators accountable for students' performance. But what I tell y'all, teachers start lying. That's what happened. Socioeconomic gaps had less influence with legislation. Teacher qualification was emphasized during NCLB, whatever the fuck that is. Resource identification became easier. These the pros. It gave parents a better understanding of their schooling options. Minority students could provide an equal contribution. Improved student test scores. Schools were required to report their data. Many schools tied students' performance to teacher salaries. These are the negatives. The best students in the classroom were often ignored. The students with the worst grades in the classroom were often discarded. It created teacher shortages in many communities. Smart children do not always perform well on standardized tests. Like, yo, this shit need to be repealed, man. It changed the goal of learning. In the past, the grasp of material being learned was the most important part of the school day. After No Child Left Behind Act became law, the emphasis shifted to teaching students how to properly take a standardized test. This created a limited range of knowledge for an entire generation of students. Look, this created a limited range of knowledge for an entire generation of students. They know enough to pass the test, but do not really understand the subject matter that they tested successfully on. It's like knowing how to cook on paper, but not understanding how to turn the stove on when trying to make something in real life. Like, oh, this is a problem, yo. It's a problem. Look, teachers can be, hold on. Teachers can be involuntarily transferred. Districts that had schools which were poorly performing had the option to replace their teachers. In 2007, in addition to No Child Left Behind, allowed school districts to go around, existing contracts to involuntarily transfer teachers from their preferred school to one that was performing poorly. In large cities, the new school could be more than an hour away, and the teacher would be responsible for the added commuting costs. This issue created many rifts between teachers and administrators, and many households saw that rift as an argument about money and nothing more. It never really addressed the core issues behind poor student learning. No Child Left Behind legislation made three core assumptions about how students were failing to meet expectations. One, that the curriculum was at fault. Two, that the teacher and administrator were not performing as expected. And three, that students were not spending enough time in the classroom environment. Factors such as large classroom sizes, poor building conditions, or even higher hunger were not part of the legislation. Look, so they didn't fix none of the schools or nothing. They didn't fix none of the schools. School funding, this is the most damaging one, y'all. School funding was driven into test-related subjects. Students in schools that were struggling to reach NCLB score mandates funneled money away from creative subjects. Instead of funding art or music, private tutoring and after-school programs they worked on homework with students was funded. What? Hold up. Let me stop it. Instead of funding art or music, private tutoring and after-school programs that worked on homework with students was funded. Okay. Although No Child Left Behind Act has been removed in favor of Every Student Succeeds Act, I don't know nothing about that. There are still grandfathered consequences built into many school districts around the country. By understanding the structure of U.S. laws regarding education, the pros can be emphasized, the cons can be minimized, and that will allow this generation of students to hopefully achieve their full potential. But it ain't. It ain't. That shit killing us. So when they talk about Baltimore, and when they talk about teachers lying on test scores, this is why. Because if they don't lie on test scores, they won't get funded. Look at this, y'all. Baltimore kids not reading on grade level.
According to FoxBaltimore.com, Baltimore, a Baltimore City teacher came forward with devastating information that showed 77% of students tested at one high school are reading at an elementary school level.
77%. How does that happen? Come on now, y'all. How? They're not reading or doing math. Look at this. How does this happen, y'all? How does this happen, y'all? She's what are you talking about? It is.
Believe it or not, baby.
The fuck is he talking about? You always coming talking crazy. How is it not? All these schools are shut down. Teachers are lying on test scores. Teachers lying on test scores with fears of if no, it's not just Baltimore. It's happening all across the United States, Cecil. It's happening all across the United States.
Some things are too
Not just
obvious
Baltimore.
to be a coincidence. Earn your competency-based master's
That was a
at
federal law.
University of Phoenix.
It didn't get abolished, y'all. We just read an article on it.
Baltimore City
They just renamed it.
Devastating reality.
All they did was renamed it.
Of state test scores are released.
Our Project Baltimore team analyzed the results, and as Chris Papps reports, there's a shocking number of city schools where not a single student is
It's
doing
the same.
math at grade
It's the
level.
same thing, Cecil.
I see the brightness of Baltimore kids.
It's now been more than a year.
We're not living up to our potential.
Since Giovanni Patterson made national headlines by suing Baltimore City schools for...
It's the same thing, Cecil. We just read it. What's the name of it? What's the name of it, Cecil? We just read it. And let me get back there, 'cause I gotta prove my little cousin wrong. He always think he knows shit. Don't know nothing. What's the name of it, Cecil? You talking about don't speak. What's the name of it? Ray, pull it up. It's the same shit. All right, pros and cons. You can't say it's not still affecting us, Cecil, when it closed down 30 schools in Baltimore City. and across the United States. Well, shit, in Baltimore City, that's all I know about. But it's closing down schools because schools it made standardized testing a means to keep school doors open. It continues to advance equity within K2 public school population. Before 1960, the best education went to students. I ain't trying to get to all that. Before the implementation of Every Student Succeed Act, individual planning for students meant that they will receive an education based on their evaluated capabilities. Evaluated capabilities, which means the still standardized test. If you have a child in a special education class, then their requirements to graduate might be entirely different than a student in the school gifted program. The legislation mandated for the first time in the United States that all students in every country were to be taught with the same academic standards. The goal of this process was to prepare more K-12 students for their upcoming careers or times in college. It provides a better communication. I need to hear what's in this bill. Federal government will participate. Although states have the option to create their own solution, the federal government still controls the purse string from the grants. Updates to templates for grants approval went through in 2017. Yo, so it's still the same system, see? Still the same system. It is, yo. We talking about the feds control the grants. The feds control the grants. It's still the same system. The problem with No Child Left Behind is that schools are being opened and shut based on test scores. This is the same system. It's the same system. All right, Taquina. It's the same system. One of the most important changes made in the most recent update was to encourage of hiring of effective in-field experienced teachers whenever possible. Research finds that the best teachers typically look for employment opportunities away from the schools that underperform according to local standards. This update encourages more funding to the district who encourage good teachers to come to school that need the most help. You gotta realize, I got a homeboy that work in the school system, bro. Test results is equivalent for teacher performance. It discourages the use. No Child Left Behind teachers were often graded based upon the results that their students could achieve on a standardized test. This issue caused many education to teach subject information to the expected test instead of providing a well-rounded approach that encourage advanced learning outcomes. The Every Student Succeed Act works more a move away from the idea that teachers should get a raise or not based on the fact that a random set of students could or could not meet a particular expectation. Yeah, but that's not changing nothing. Let's see the cons. It removed list the cons. Even though the ESSA does improve the accountability concept in education across the United States, the 1,061-page bill, which is about 400 pages longer than the previous legislation addressing these issues, do not radically vary from earlier efforts to improve outcomes. The laws relies on testing to create accountability outcomes. Come on, y'all, it's the same concept. See, what the fuck is you talking about? It's the same concept. It's the same concept. This is the problem. This right here, let me make it bigger for you so you can't see it. This, I fucked it up. God damn it. No, I didn't. I read the pros and the cons. I ain't read all of them. It's getting late. Fucking 2 o'clock. This is the problem right here, y'all. This is the problem. So what about other cities other than Baltimore? Cecil, it's not just happening. It's not just in Baltimore, bro. This is a federal law. You talking about Baltimore, which is about 400 pages longer than the previous legislation addressing the issue. Does not radically vary from the earlier efforts to improve outcomes, the law relies on testing to create accountability outcomes, which can be an unreliable way to measure the success or failure of a student. The only primary change in this area is that it shifts the responsibility implementation from the federal government to the states, but the federal government is still in hold of the money. Because every student succeed emphasize accountability in the K-12 system by looking at test scores and classroom environment, the root issues that cause inequity don't get fixed yet again. When economic disadvantages are tied directly to performance of a student, then the problem in the public school can only be fixed when there are ways to improve the standard of living in each community. Although the ESSA is better because it takes a critical aim at the test and punish strategies that many schools were using under No Child Left Behind, a few valuable programs won't encounter the advised impacts that poverty has on many communities. Supporters of the Every Student Succeed Act celebrates the fact that it provides more flexibility on the testing requirements placed on public schools. It also eliminates one of the vital areas of accountability that were used to ensure compliance with the expectation of No Child Left Behind. Under the ESSA, there is no longer a requirement to report adequate yearly progress on the test scores gains from the student body. There are some exciting changes that could support a better classroom environment in the future. The preschool development grants for low-income families is one of the strongest components of the measures. It even includes an arts educational fund when students are given the requirements to hold their school accountable, then who holds the overseers accountable as well. County schools ain't different. It shit ain't no different, yo. They still passing failing kids, see? They doing it all across the United States. They passing failing kids. The testing mandates found in Every Student Succeed Act continue to make a retreat from the anti-poverty focus included in the original legislation from the 1960s. The Johnson administration said that poverty was the greatest barrier to educational opportunity. In cities like New York, New Jersey, accountability doesn't mean taking the Title I approach. That was in the original spirit of the law. It involves more testing, additional school closures, and potential long-term trauma to the kids because they receive the blame for outcomes instead of the adults. So instead of blaming the teachers, they blame the adults. When schools close because of ESSA, it hurts vulnerable students the most. So it's still, schools are still closing. Schools are still closing. This is the issue. This bill is no different. It might sound better in wording, but it's still creating the same problems. Still creating the same problems, y'all. The communities and neighborhoods that see school closing most often are the ones that need this resource available to them. When the city of Chicago closed almost 50 elementary schools because of issues involving performance, African American students were a majority population and 90% in the district. What is even more disturbing is that about 6% of the impacted schools had a high concentration of special needs schools. Yo, why are you coming here talking about spreading false news? This was the issue I've been talking about the whole fucking time. Regardless if it's No Child Left Behind, ESSA, it's all the goddamn same. The fuck? It's all the same. Schools are being funded based on how they doing, which leads teachers to lie on grades, lie on test scores, which ultimately promotes failing kids. That's the whole basis of the conversation. You probably wouldn't hear the whole time. The obligation to education all children, no matter what their economic circumstances may be, gets weakened when the federal government decides to sit on the bench. The Every Student Succeed Act creates a patchwork system where each state, territory, and district can potentially use a different system of accountability. This inconsistency creates the potential for unequal practices, which means the government has no way to intervene if there is resistance to certain kinds of reform. Every Student Succeed Act works to help every student receive high quality education at their local public school. It continues to work. They always finish it off with a fucking positive. Shit is killing us. Yo, the standardized test, and it's like, yo, even at that rate, even with the changes, yo, that bill killed us, and it's still affecting us to this day. Still affecting us, yo. They still lying on grades. They still lying on test scores. They still lying, yo, and it's hurting the community. It's hurting the community, man. It's hurting our children. I think it might have been, we don't want to get to talking about that. But yo, we 2 hours in. It's 1:15. I just wanted to talk about, the problem with these kids, yo. Like, jail and prison is not the option, man. It ain't never been an option, yo. It only made things worse. It only made things worse. It never helped nothing. So I just don't be understanding how we always get back to that. Like, anytime we got issues in our community, that's all they offer us. They only offer prison. They only offer jail, and that shit don't work. So that was my question from the beginning. Yo, what? Oh shit! I'm gonna bust my ass. Where do we shit? Where do we What are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to accomplish? Are we just trying to lock kids up? Or do we want a better community? Because I'm going to tell you one thing for certain. Locking kids up ain't going to fix the community. Just like locking black men up ain't fix the community. I just don't think, yo, we need to start. I just don't think we need to start opening them doors, y'all. Like, certain doors are better left closed. You feel me? They better left closed. You don't want to open them, because once they open them, it's hard to shut down. For real. I gotta put this food away. What's the suggestion? Open up some of them schools. Open some of them schools back up. Use some of that money we get. Open some of them schools back up. Put some rec centers in there. Open up some jobs. Because you killing two birds with one stone. You're giving the kids something to do, and you putting jobs in the community. You would think it's a no-brainer, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that because they want to sell that these kids are dangerous. They need to be put away. They want to sell that. They want to sell that to you. Yo, Baltimore City. Baltimore City has 30 schools closed. 30 schools. Man, you can do so much with them schools, y'all. Man, you can do so much with them schools. Dang. Yeah, but that's one thing they always talk about. Ain't no budget. It ain't no budget. That's the problem. It ain't never no budget. It ain't never no budget to do nothing like that. They find budget for prisons. They just put $30 billion in the juvenile detention center. 30 billion. But ain't no money in the budget for the do not for the schools. They can't never find money in the budget for that ever. Ain't never no money in the budget. But they'll find money in the budget. They found $30 million to build that juvenile justice center. They found $30 million to build that. See, so I know we been talking about you tripping me out, yo. Oh, you my younger cousin, bro. What do you think this is, man? They always find money in the budget for that. Whenever you talking about locking up black kids, they find money. They find money from everywhere. $30 million. You get people donating. People donate to that. I mean, you get anonymous donations and all type of shit when you try to lock up black kids. But there ain't never no money in the budget. Ain't never no money in the budget to fix the problems in the community. Fuck out of here, man. That's bullshit. I'm not getting up, so. Yeah, that shit bogus. Man, they say Baltimore City schools get more funding than any school in the United States. Any schools, they say Baltimore City schools get a whole bunch of funding, but for the longest time they ain't even had air conditioning. They just got air conditioning 2-3 years ago. It's a lot of stealing going on, man. A lot of stealing, a lot of skimming off the top. A lot of that shit going on. I'm just saying, yo, it gotta be better. It gotta be better alternatives to prison. You know, to jail. You know that shit don't help. Yo, if you look at New York and look at stop and frisk, right? Stop and frisk is a perfect example. You go to New York, you look at stop and frisk. And see that stop and frisk took the crime rate down, right? But it also had kids struggling in schools. It also had kids not trusting the police. Like, yo, I think what this country got to start doing a better job of is weighing out the pros versus the cons, man. What's the pros? What's the cons? Like really weighing them out. Because we have a few pros and turn that shit into law, but the cons will kill us on the back end. The cons will kill us on the back end. But I'll tell you one thing. We're gonna see. Watch how they start locking these kids up. And watch the effects it's gonna have 10 years from now. People gonna be like, dang, Keep It G was right. That shit was a terrible bill. What was wrong with the current system, the system that we had before No Child Left Behind and that other fucking shit, the other bill? What was wrong with that system? Ain't like it was nothing. That system was fine. What made them repeal that? I don't think nothing was wrong with that system. That system brought some great value to the community. But here we go trying to be innovative and trying to make changes to systems and institutions that don't need changed. That's what we do in this country, y'all. Just be experimenting with shit. Just be experimenting with shit. Yo, it wasn't this broken, see, so we wasn't having these problems. You said it was broken, but we wasn't having these problems. Kids wasn't reading on a motherfucking third grade level and shit like that. Wasn't broken like this. We struggling now. You ask a little kid how to read, he gonna get mad at you. He gonna get mad at you on a fight. Wasn't having these issues. All them damn schools shut down, man. I couldn't believe that shit, y'all. And at the time, I didn't even know why all them schools were shutting down. I had to look into it. The fuck is going on? Why is all these schools shutting down? Schools that been around for fucking decades getting shut down because of these motherfucking No Child Left Behind shit. And then 12 years later after the damage is already done, they try to make something up to save face. But that shit ain't no better. It still creates the same problems. Like, man. The bottom line is, y'all, they really don't want to. This country don't want to invest in the poor, man. You know, it don't want to pour into the poor. They want motherfuckers to just figure it out. You know, while everybody in the world got help, the black community supposed to just figure it out. You figure everything else out. I guess that's the mentality. You guys are so resilient. That's the mentality, y'all. You guys are so resilient. You just have a way of just figuring things out. Fuck that. Who said U.S. didn't start? Who said U.S. didn't start standardized testing? The shit was horrible, y'all. It's a horrible idea, man. The shit was horrible. Damn, y'all. I hate when bananas start going bad. You said it was racially biased? What you talking about? What was racially biased? I remember MSPP. Yeah, but the MSPP wasn't based. Schools wasn't getting shut down because of that though. See, that's the thing. Schools wasn't getting shut down back then, yo. MSPP that probably was just the preliminary stages. I remember MSPP. I remember standardized testing, but it wasn't. Schools wasn't getting shut down because of that shit. No child left behind. Got schools getting shut down. That's the difference. Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah, but we was producing better kids though. I mean, we was producing better kids, yo. Like, yo, what's going on right now, yo? That shit's the crime, bro. Like, what they did to the public school system, yo, that shit need to be investigated. For real, yo. Like, yo, somebody need to go to jail for that shit, man. You know me, I think it was intentional. You know, I think that's how I don't think they make mistakes like that. I think when they do shit that egregious, I think it'd be intentional. For real. The problem has and always will be people ain't trying to teach black women. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That is a problem. You know, because it's money, it's ignorance. Ignorance is profitable. Jimmy D, what it is. Yeah, they don't. Schools definitely don't work on the strengths. They keep them boxed into a curriculum. I just had a conversation with a dude about that. It's money and ignorance, man. It's money. It's very profitable keeping black people ignorant. Very profitable. It's hard, man. Like I said, we got that No Child Left Behind Act. That shit went on for how many years? From 2003, to 2001 to 2015, 16. That shit produced a lot of bad seeds, man. That shit produced a lot of bad seeds, man. It produced failing kids that turned into failing adults. I heard earlier, how about when these kids start getting in trouble? First time offense. Depending on what they do, you gotta start putting these parents in some type of parenting course. Yeah, that's true though, Bob. It's not just the schools, Millie. Nobody's blaming just the schools. We just talking about the schools. It's a multitude of problems. Schools ain't the only issue. Hell no, that's just what we talk about currently. You know, this conversation is multifaceted. It's not just one reason. This is several reasons that the community's struggling. That these kids out here acting crazy. Drill music is another one. Several fucking reasons. You know, boredom is another one. Lack of resources. See, so that shit couldn't have worked, y'all. Yo, they start lying on grades, see? They start lying, yo, because kids, yo, you put teachers in a position and principals in a position to where if my school don't pass, then my school gets shut down, which means we lose jobs. The principal probably don't lose his job, but a lot of them teachers gonna lose their job. Yeah, clout chasing is a huge problem. That's a huge problem. Yeah, they said they wanted. They said at the time they had kids. I read something a while ago that said at the time you had a lot of kids that were still in their 20s, still in school. I heard they was trying to push them out of school too. Or I could in their 20s was still in school, in high school and shit. They wanted them out. Yeah, clout chasing is a whole nother beast. Clout chasing is a serious problem. Serious problem. Everybody chasing clout. Yo, I gotta go to bed though. Y'all gotta get up in 3 hours, y'all. I appreciate everybody that tapped in. If the teacher want higher salaries, they need to show results. When I was in high school, you couldn't stay past 21. If parents have to, yeah, I don't even think you can stay to 21 no more, Bob. If parents have to pay for their school, they will be on their ass. Yeah, that's true. I don't know, y'all. But y'all appreciate everybody that tapped in. Another day, keep your news. I'm out.